Hi, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us in this world today. Thank you so much for joining us on Silicon Valley Campus Spotlight. So, just as you know, this session is just for you to learn all about the campus. So, without further ado, I will definitely start. My name is Harsh Mehta. I'm the recruiting specialist located in the Boston campus. We have the Assistant Director of Recruitment, um, Yuqing Chao. She is based in our Silicon Valley, and she is the expert, and she will talk to you all about what Silicon Valley has to offer for you, and just as how it's part of Northeastern Global Campus Network. So these are just some first housekeeping rules that we like to go over, is that this is definitely a safe space. So we definitely like this to be a safe space for us as well as for you. So on the bottom of your screen, you will see a Q&A feature. Please use that as an opportunity to access specific questions you have regarding just general Northeastern questions and specifically Oakland questions. And just, I'm gonna leave this to just render on the screen for a bit, just for you guys to know that this is definitely an inclusive environment for you as well as for all of our members. So what is Northeastern and why Northeastern, right? So we are a top ranked one research school and experiential learning university. That is what we are striving. That is what we have continued to strive for over 125 years. We are number one ranked in co-op and internships across all the regions that we have. And just within Northeastern, there are multiple colleges, right? There's just nothing, it's just not a lone college of engineering. We have 10 colleges and schools, and we built a university system of over 40,000 students. So there's definitely a lot of expansion, a lot of collaboration, and a lot of networking opportunities. Outside of Boston, there is a global university system, and just like today, you are here just to learn about it. So what does that look like, right? So this is what the mission statement is for College of Engineering, and this is something that has come down from our dean. As an academic institution, our main product is people. Our success is based on the quantity and quality of the people we produce. So at Northeastern, we are just not about good engineers who solve problems or a great engineer who solve problems. It's about transformative engineers, discovers and solve important problems. So you are in an environment of just not alone what you learn in academia, but as well as what you apply in the real world, as well as in the courses and labs that you're part of. So we produce transformative engineers, students like you, and faculty within the global impact. So what does that global impact look like, right? So we've started in Boston and we have expanded to over 13 campuses across the region from West Coast to East Coast, as well as internationally in Canada and London. So today we're going to spotlight our Silicon Valley. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to you, Chin.
Thank you so much, Harsh. Hello, everyone. If we can just go back to the previous slide real quick. Thank you. So my name is Yi Chen Xiao, and I am based here in the Silicon Valley in the city of San Jose. And it's so great to be here today talking about my campus to you all. In the picture, I like to highlight a few things. So this is a really great shot of a picture of downtown San Jose. So that's where the Silicon Valley campus is located. On the background, you can see the rolling hills. And in the picture, those two identical white tall buildings is actually where the Silicon Valley campus is located. So we're, again, located in the downtown area. It's very walkable. In the upcoming slides, I will share with you some of, what are the opportunities here in Silicon Valley. Next slide, please. So on this slide, a little bit about City of San Jose. So on the right hand of your screen, you actually see students hanging out outside of the Museum of Art of San Jose. These are our students, and the museum is in walking distance to our campus. And then furthermore, for downtown San Jose, there are lots of coffee shops, restaurants, just in walking distance to campus. If you're somebody who's like, hey, I heard, if I'm moving to Silicon Valley or, Bay Area in general, is a car must. So transportation actually is very convenient here in the Valley. We have the VTA, which is the public transit that takes you around the Bay Area. And a little bit more about the city we're in. Not only we're very rich in cultural and obviously opportunities for career, but we're about like 45 minutes drive to San Francisco, and then we're about like an hour drive to Oakland. As you probably know, the Northeastern campus, we have two campuses here in the Bay Area. One here, this is where I am from, the city of San Jose. And then we also have a campus in Oakland. So the Bay Area is just a unique place for Northeastern. For that being, we are geographically very close. We have two campuses that give students very, very different vibes. Next slide, please. So on the next slide, this is a quick map to show you where we are. So on the bottom right of the screen, you see where Northeastern Silicon Valley campus is located. Again, this is where downtown San Jose is on the Bay Area. So we're known as the Southern Bay Area, so South Bay. And then in walking distance, we're to companies like Adobe, Zoom. We also have Deloitte. And then within just 15 minutes drive, you can get to PayPal, Intel, NVIDIA, all these big, big companies. So across the Bay Area, as you kind of look from the bottom to the top. So the top area, that's where San Francisco is. And then in the middle, there's where Sunnyvale, Palo Alto, Mountain View, all those big cities are located where, LinkedIn, Google, Facebook are all here. So one thing I always talk to students about this map is that for Silicon Valley campus, when you come here, you get a lot more exposure to these tech companies than any of the other areas in the country, just because, Silicon Valley, we're really in the core area where innovations and technologies are happening. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a little bit more about our campus. Our physical address is 4 North 2nd Street in San Jose. And as I mentioned earlier, we're in these really new state-of-the-art buildings. And our campus offers study halls, huddle spaces, collaboration rooms. And when you kind of come on our campus, you feel like you're in a startup area, like a startup company. And it feels really great to be there. It's very bright because it's windows everywhere. All of our classrooms are multi-use classrooms equipped with flexible technology, meaning that if there are live streaming, if there are things that we need to communicate with Boston during class, it's like super smooth. And then on top of the academic areas, we also have a game room in the building. It's really fun because you can play table tennis, you can play pool, you can play basketball in there. There's a gym, and then there's a bike storage. So some of our students take public transit to campus, and then they will bike from the bus stop to campus. So there's a really safe bike storage in the building. We also have outdoor space and event space available on campus as well. Next slide, please. So here are some visuals to give you a little bit of peek into campus life. So on the top left, this is a picture of students hanging out at the outdoor patio. So sometimes we will have career fairs, we'll have involvement fairs, like student showcase on the outdoor patio. So it's a really fun place to be, because one fun fact about the city of San Jose is that we have, on an average, 300 days of the year that we experience sunshine. So right now it's super sunny. So it's always great to be outdoor. And then the other two pictures shows you one with students in class, in action, and then another picture of students collaborating in the huddle spaces. And then on the background, you see the really gorgeous view of San Jose. So again, always pretty clear here in San Jose. So you always get this super bright and mountain views from the campus. Next slide, please. Okay, so now let's get into the specific graduate program offerings we have here from College of Engineering. So we have two programs here on ground from College of Engineering. We have information systems and the information systems bridge. So the differences between the two, you can feel free to ask questions in the Q&A, but the bridge is designed for students coming from a non-STEM background. So if you're thinking about break into tech, transition into tech, the IES bridge is a great program for you. Next slide. Okay, so this is something that I always want to talk to students about, especially prospective students, because a lot of times students ask us, right, like especially going into graduate programs, you want to start thinking about your career and the resources we have here really in advance from day one. So just to give you a quick idea, we have so many different tools and resources here for the Silicon Valley campus. We have a specific NU Silicon Valley career website. Once you're an enrolled student here, you will get access to the programming, you will get the calendar of all the events and a lot more. And then you also can schedule one-on-one appointment with career advisors on ground here. And then we also use NU Works, which you can explore and register internships and co-ops. And one of the biggest platform we do use is the Handshake, where you can set up appointments through there. And then you have the visibility to all the internships, part-time, full-time jobs that are out in the market. So that is definitely, these are the three tools and resources that students utilize on a daily basis. Next slide, please. Here are a quick overview of some recent experiential learning opportunities with industry just between us and these companies. The list is a lot more, but I'm just picking up a few that happened recently with Amazon AWS. Plug and Play is a huge entrepreneurship like incubator, and then C3 AI, a huge AI company that recently just visited our campus and had this really amazing network events for our students. Because for Silicon Valley campus, we have the project management program on ground as well. So the PMI was here giving students a workshop and webinars. And then Verge is one of these biggest like climate tech events that happen in the area. So our students get the chance to go there too. Some of the other opportunities not listed on here, we recently took a group of our Silicon Valley students to Adobe. Again, like I mentioned earlier, that was in walking distance to campus. And students were able to connect with recruiters directly and hear from recent graduates who are now working at Adobe during a panel. So that was a really great learning opportunity and networking opportunity for our students. So again, like I mentioned earlier, I think there are just lots of opportunities here. Next slide. Okay, so specifically for College of Engineering, we have a co-op specialist on ground here supporting students with co-op. And just, this past March, we had 4 events hosted by the COE co-op specialist on ground. So this is just a quick overview of what we had. I just want to give you an idea of if you do end up coming to Silicon Valley campus, what would that look like, right? So robotics webinar, we had a specific coding one that really was sharing with students about hackathons and all that, and then career preparation and a meta event. So these are all resources available to students here for Silicon Valley. And not listed on here is that besides the COE co-op specialist, our career strategic partnership team also put together a session called Navigating the Reality of Networking. And we invited 4 women panelists from the area, one from TikTok, one from Google, one from Hatch, and one from West Digital. So that was a really amazing session that over 80 students attended. So again, we have a lot of events happening on ground, and it's really exciting place to be. Next slide. Okay, so I'm I'm not 100% sure if in the audience today we have someone already admitted to Silicon Valley campus, and maybe you have questions regarding, okay, like what about relocating, right? Housing, what does that look like? What about public transit? And what is the city cultural? So these are QR codes. I will highly recommend you to take a picture or scan those QR codes and save those links in your phone, in your tablet right now, so that you can start thinking about relocating. And the new student guide put together by our student service team is a really comprehensive list to help you navigating the city life here. And so yeah, these are great resources for you. Next slide. And one thing to mention is that we do have a awesome student ambassador team at the Silicon Valley campus. So as you can see, we have 3 COE students here on ground as our student ambassadors. So you feel free to scan the QR code if you want to, connect with them or find them on LinkedIn. They're amazing students that would love to share with you, what is the student life like here at Silicon Valley. Okay, so to wrap up, I just want to make sure that you have access to my email here. Again, my name is Yichen Shao, and my email is y.shao@northeastern.edu. Feel free to email me if you have any questions regarding, the Silicon Valley campus. And then we're really active on social media, so feel free to give us a follow at NU Silicon Valley. So on the Instagram page, our students post all sorts of student life on campus, and in the stories you can also see like a day with the student. What does that look like? So especially for those of you who are considering applying, or you are considering admitting, committing to Silicon Valley campus, you want to get a peek into what life would be like. That's a great resource for you. And then on the right side, the QR code, this is more upcoming events, and you can also read about student blogs on there. So this is also a great page to bookmark. Next slide. All right, I will pass it back to you, Harsh. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So just within Northeastern, right, although we are a global campus network, a lot of students and a lot of questions we have are, what's the difference between the campuses, or do we have the same resources on one campus to another? And the question is, yes, resources are provided to students regardless of the campus you're at. So these are a lot of student support services for career success at Northeastern. So like we mentioned earlier, there are co-op advisors on campuses. If they're not in person, they are also provided to by virtual support. For any of our international students that are on this call today that have joined us, OGS is our Office of Global Support for students, and they work with you on any visa questions you have, any CPT or anything those that come along the line for you. I know a common question that we often get are our programs STEM based? And yes, all of the programs within the College of Engineering are STEM based. Within that, every student is provided a student service advisor. So they help you with your academic advising. So if you're bringing in credits or transferring credits, if you have specific program related questions, they would be the experts to answer those questions for you. I know for some questions that were coming in were like, based on my background being a different background, can I apply for this? And majority of the services that they offer is just to answer those specific questions that you are asking. And outside of that, there's always support, right? There's always tutoring support services, like Yichin mentioned. Ambassadors are a great tool to use, especially if you're relocating, if you have specific campus life questions, they would be the experts since they have been in your shoes. So what does that look like on the next steps, right? For students that have joined us, and if you have been accepted, we like to congratulate you on your acceptance. This is like a roadmap that we share with our students regarding what the next steps would be. And for students that are still in the process of submitting your application, this is also what apply to if at that point in time where you are accepted is all of our communication happens through your application portal. So if you're missing a document, if we need additional documents, that is the platform you will use to see what's the status of your application. So once you are accepted, at that point in time, you will pay your enrollment fee, and that will help navigate you through the entire roadmap. For domestic students, it's a little bit different on that side, where you see like you would just submit your health reports, and then you just attend orientation. Orientation both is virtual as well as in person, so you do have that option. For our international students, there is an I-20 process, so you definitely will work with that, and our Office of OGS helps you with that piece. So these are just the roadmap. Like I've stated earlier, this is shared. This is also on our website that you could find. And then, of course, for students that are still deciding if I should submit an application, or you're just not sure of what program you should apply to. So for any students that hopefully this has helpful for differentiating between information systems or information systems bridge or any of things along those lines, June 1st is our deadline for international students outside of the US. And then for students that are both based, international students that are in the US and domestic students, the application deadline for fall is August 1st. So those are just some timelines you should just like resonate, just think about. Our spring applications have not opened yet. They'll open up a little bit more later in the summer, but this is just something just to think like, hey, there is still time to submit your application. And what are those requirements, right? So those are things that we will touch base, but these are some just tips and tricks that our ambassadors, students have shared with us, and just from faculty points as well, that the College of Engineering is a rolling admissions office, just before those deadlines. So you could definitely apply for MS and PhD. Specifically for this one, you would apply for the MS programs that are based on that campus. In your application, you could apply for more than one program. So let's say if you're a student that you are unsure if you should apply for information systems or information systems bridge, you could apply for both. More likely, the department will let you know, like, hey, your background is more heavy math and science. You do meet the qualification for information systems. If the faculty feel that you don't meet the information systems background, they will redirect your application to the information systems bridge. So these are just some fun facts and tricks to think about. Outside of that, this is what your application requirements are. We do have an application fee of $100, but since you've joined us today, there is a fee waiver code that you will use. This only applies to new applicants, or for applicants that have not submitted an application yet, this is the fee waiver code you would use. I know another common question I often get is, can this be applied to other colleges within Northeastern? No, this is specifically for the College of Engineering. We do require 2 letters of recommendation, unofficial transcripts. When you are admitted and enrolled at that point in time, we will ask for official ones, your statement of purpose, a resume. Our GREs are optional, so you're not required to submit them. If you're an international student, we do require English proficiency exams, so we accept IELTS, TOEFL, and Duolingo. So just something like I stated earlier about the fee waiver code, I'm gonna leave this on the screen so you guys could take a screenshot of it. It is case sensitive, so please be mindful when you do put in the fee waiver code, and when you are submitting your application, to just check off that you do have a fee waiver code, because that will that would start off a little box where you will put that in. So just be mindful of that. And so just take a screenshot of it, and just remember it is a capital A and it is a capital COE, and there's no spaces. And just like how we have, right, you should mention social media is a big platform. A lot of the ambassadors on, a lot of the marketing happens there as well for campuses. So are we. So we definitely want you guys to stay in touch with us. So this is our stay in touch line specifically for COE. So if you have COE specific questions, that is the way you will contact us. We are on every platform of any social media that you could think of, as well as if you have specific ambassador questions, we could have you guys email them directly, or you could email our admissions inbox and we will forward it to our student ambassadors. So I hope that was helpful. There is a slide that I am going to go back to, which were the QR codes of that Yunqing mentioned, because I know some of you wanted those again. So I will go back and leave these on the screen for you guys to just take screenshots of while as we answer some of the Q&A questions that have come in. So I see a lot of specific questions for information systems. Yes, so there are courses that you could take that has specific like concentrations in them. So you could submit your application for information systems and highlight that this is what you're looking for as a concentration within the program. And if you have more specific questions, I will just provide, I'm in the chat box, I'll provide our advising office email and you could ask them specific questions as well. Just type that in the chat box of our advising office. So the first email that I put in the chat box is for our graduate advising. I'm going to also put in our admissions inbox email, so it's easier for you to just copy and paste. So for English speaking proficiency, on our website, you will find a link of what countries are exempt from it and what countries aren't. If you are currently an international student within the States completing your bachelor's here, you are exempt from taking an English proficiency exam.
I found this on the web.
Let's see, what else do I see? If you're looking for students that are looking a little bit more specific about the program concentration stuff, please email our admissions inbox. We'll definitely have someone forward you the necessary resources and material that is needed, since this is a very specific and detailed question. So for blockchain, definitely just email our office, as well as on our website, you could definitely see the options of what it looks like. I don't see any other. Great question. Can international students apply for on-campus jobs? Yes, they can. Workday was what students could use when they're applying, when you are seeking to apply for employment within Northeastern. A lot of our campuses also host like a welcome week where a lot of clubs, organizations are out and trying to recruit students. And there's a lot of offices that also will be there to be like, hey, we're looking for students as well. So a lot of our student ambassadors are international students, and that is a paid job they're doing. It is not volunteer work. For the student that's asking specific programs regarding the different engineering programs, so at Silicon Valley, currently there's only 2 College of Engineering programs there, which is Information Systems and Information Systems Bridge at the moment. Of course, College of Engineering is always expanding, but if you're looking for something outside of those 2 programs, those will not be available at the Silicon Valley at the moment as of yet. Okay, so it seems like we have no specific related campus questions or any additional questions that are coming in. So a great question for scholarships, and I think that's a common question we often get. So when you submit your applications to Northeastern, all students are reviewed for a Dean Scholarship. So every student is reviewed for it. There are some specific criteria that could be a GPA. But let's say if you did not receive a scholarship, you're more than welcome to email our admissions inbox and submit a proposal of any funding that we could see that's available for you. But we definitely highly encourage students to look for third-party scholarships, because the university does accept them and there's multiple scholarships outside. And just don't be discouraged just because you're international students that you would not qualify for them. I'm going to stop sharing the screen, and I hope everyone got the resources they were looking and the QR code. Perfect. So just a reminder, everyone, please copy and paste the advising email and the admissions email that you have. And if you have any specific questions, please let us know. If there's more specific questions you have from Silicon Valley, you also could email Silicon Valley, or we will forward that email to them for that piece. Okay, perfect. So I think we're at the top of the hour. I see no more questions coming in. So we really appreciate you guys attending our session. Like I've stated, was recorded and it will be on our YouTube page. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.